Hello, everybody, fans of A Link to the Past Randomizer League, and welcome to this Week 1 matchup between Clown Routing 101 and I Stole Your Bow. We're going to have a little tour de Hyrule today as we're playing all dungeons co-op, so you see two runners from each team on the screen, and we'll get to see a little bit of teamwork from these pairs of players, Arcturus, Chusky, and Torinn for Clown Routing, DrunkFutureSelf and Bioniclegenius playing for I Stole Your Bow. Hi, Zeke. What are we looking?
Hi, Zaru.
What are we looking for in this one?
Well, with it being Week 1, we are playing all dungeons open. So
that is kind of important to note. It is all dungeons, but there is no key sanity for those of you who might be familiar with 80 keys. Don't worry, we'll be playing some of that next week. But for Week 1, you're going to have 2 players for each team sharing some information vocally. They can't view each other's streams. They can't view their opponent's streams because that's cheating. And as we see, we're already a minute and some in. So what you'll see is everyone's going to go to a different spot and try to clean up as much of the world and find your go mode as fast as possible.
And it looks like we've got, on Clown Routing side, a Sanctuary to Kakariko route through Lost Woods versus a Link's House to Sahasrara start. And we did see a Fire Rod at the Lost Woods mushroom spot.
And there's your map check. We've got a regular pendant on Eastern. I believe that was a 5-6 on Desert and a regular crystal at Hera. So not as important in all dungeons. You're going to have to clear everything anyway. But those 5-6 and the pendant are going to be important to note.
Yes, they are.
You never know when Pedestal or Pyramid Fairy might have something you need. Torinn already going into Eastern. That's some spicy early routing.
Well, looking at the starting inventories, there is a 10 bomb pack that was picked up early as well. So they're not completely unarmed, and DrunkFutureSelf is taking those bombs in for a bomb escape section.
Watch out, that's a flute in Kakariko, so there's tons to look at already in quick fashion here. Yeah, BG already has that flute, so that information, of course, will be relayed to Torinn and DFS, and we'll see at what point they decide they want to bail out of what they're doing, because obviously you're still going to go through Kakariko anyway. That's not going to be a very good feel, though. You find a bow in the well when your teammate is currently running through Eastern Palace.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate. Meanwhile, we have gloves in the well, and so far not much in the front of escape.
Ooh, how about that Moon Pearl in Easter in the map check, though? All right, that is one bird set free for Bioniclegenius, so he'll get to flute away and do whatever the heck he wants to do next. Of course, for I Stole Your Bow, they've already stolen a bow, surprisingly. And I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them go to just tackle Dark Eastern early on.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Meanwhile, in Zelda Cell, we have the map, so we know that now Bioniclegenius knows that there is nothing in the front of escape to warrant going to Hyrule Castle. Because DrunkFutureSelf will have relayed that information. To answer a quick question in chat, the settings of this race are open, all dungeons, and the runners on the left are sharing info, and the runners on the right are sharing info.
Little bit of cooperation, collaboration, diverse of routes. Try to find everything you can in as fast of a fashion and as efficient as a fashion as you can to solve the seed, where you have to finish all of the dungeons. That does include climbing Castle Tower.
Unfortunately. But unlike certain key sanity modes, at least the keys are still in the tower.
Ooh, unfortunately, Torinn taking a death in the dark part of Eastern That's really a tough play to make with not only having bombs to see, though.
And DrunkFutureSelf has found a hammer, so the hammer is at the floodgate, which does mean we have Dark World access for once the Moon Pearl has been collected from Eastern.
Arcturus Chusky sees that cape and says, yeah, I kind of want it. You never know, bumper ledge might be important at some point. Also, it's a nice safety.
And at least as far as they're aware at the moment, that could still be their Dark World access. And DrunkFutureSelf takes a death at Mini Moldrum Cave.
Now, that never feels good.
Have you ever tried hitting them with a hammer?
Oh, the hammer hitbox, especially when you're facing directly up, is just atrocious. Especially the way Mini Moldworms like to move around. Hammer's probably, I would say, the worst weapon to deal with that entire room with.
And the back of escape is also just nothing of usefulness.
You know, we could just be looking at an early Dark World seed. Without a mirror to do much on the mountain, we did, well, it's premature. We don't know what's going on here at MMC yet, but, you know, Torrin's going to go get his flute. That Moldworm is just stuck.
He's having a good... DFS has gotten 2 Moldworms stuck in the cracks there.
Oh no, DFS! That you hate to see it.
That just doesn't feel good for anybody, does it?
No, every time you take a death in a big check area like a Mini Moldworm Cave or right in front of Hype Cave, or even if it's just one check but it's so far out of the way like Ice Rod Cave, it feels terrible. And you know, having to relay to your teammate that, hey, I just ate it. You know, it's just, it happens. But that will probably weigh on their mind for a little bit here, depending on what is waiting inside Mini Moldworm Cave here.
Green Pendant Turtle Rock, says the Elder.
Well, that's delicious. You could have the worst ice rod hunt known to man, woman, or child. Or none of the above. All right, Arcturus Chusky takes that hammer into the front of escape. We know there's really not much here, but getting it out of the way early. I mean, you want to clear your Sphere 1 checks if you can, right?
Yeah. And DrunkFutureSelf, tired of fighting Moldworms, has gone to Agina's cave.
And just finds Agina's stash of treasure. So for I Stole Your Bow, they're going to have Dark World access information in just a moment here as BG will pick up his Moon Pearl.
And it looks like Torrin might be going down south as well.
Yeah, that would be Dark World access for Torrin, just naturally, as he already has the Moon Pearl. So he might... Yeah, you might go to Mini Moldworm Cave, you might just go straight into the Dark World from here.
Torrin does have a slightly easier loadout to kill those Mini Moldworms with than DrunkFutureSelf did. Because, as far as we're aware, they're not fireproof.
Half Magic Firebrod does make that kind of easy, doesn't it?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, did I see Torrin not activate the flute?
Does Torrin have his flute? Yeah, he does. Did he not activate his flute? Uh-oh. That could be trouble later. Alright, DrunkFutureSelf gets his bow. So he'll be able to clean up Eastern, which we know is... I don't remember. We've seen the big key. So it's in logic to kill Armos Knights this early.
It is, because there are torches in the dark room back here. Well, Mini Moldworm Cave had nothing.
Torrin's got a lot of dollars right now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him go all the way to Ice Rod Cave and then make a fake flipper play for Zora, since Zora, with the glove, is also in Logic this early. And the more stuff you can find that you don't just put isolated out of the way to not have to go back to later, the better.
That's right. I think you and I have both been burned in the past by teammates isolating checks.
Not that we know or anything. And of course, DFS does beat him to Ice Rod Cave, so we'll get a look at this one. And it is just a big 20.
BG runs into a little trouble with the red Igor room, but does get through just fine.
And there's a flute to 7 for DrunkFutureSelf. He wants that mini Moldworm Cave, you know it.
He's probably not happy to have had to die twice there. And that is a pendant Eastern today.
And Arcturus Chusky says, no thanks to the rest of Eastern, I'm going to the Dark World.
An interesting decision, to be certain. But the Dark World is an extremely dense play right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Hammer and Glove opens a lot.
There's plenty in the Fire Rod. All you really need to be able to go visit Moth, not that anyone wants to do that on 5 Hearts Green Mail, is a sword. And nothing behind the flippers on the hobo here. Everyone's got to find that right pixel to jump on out. Here you go.
And here at Hype Cave for Arcturus, we start with a piece of heart. Welcome for the heart, extra heart. There's our lamp.
See, now that lamp is interesting because it does put the entirety of Palace of Darkness into logic here.
Alright, Torrin, be careful. Who knew Charizard could swim? And it looks like we've got a pendant Skullwoods as well. And I think I saw our other red crystal sitting at Swamp Palace.
That you did, and the only things keeping us from doing that right now are flippers and a mirror.
And a hookshot.
Well, yeah, hookshot. I'm sorry, hookshotless swamp just pays out, okay? Sometimes.
Sometimes. And Arcturus is going to the Pyramid Ledge here. And now, DrunkFutureSelf has his Moon Pearl. BG is doing their Hype Cave.
I didn't see what that was. It looks like it. I don't know what that was. Nothing we want, clearly.
Whatever it was, Arc doesn't want it.
And of course, chat pointing out we did see a book on Zora Ledge too, and that's not something anybody's very much looking forward to seeing.
And I think Torrin's going for a splash delete here.
Well, true to what I said, we've got Arcturus Chusky following that lamp and going directly to pod.
And Torrin, with his last bombs, Torrin does get the splash delete. So he will be grabbing that book on the first trip.
It'll be interesting to see if that book actually leads to anything, since it is logically locked by flippers.
DrunkFutureSelf took some hits in the dark room and decided, let's get a fairy from the refill pot.
Did DrunkFutureSelf not pick up his fire rod? He did not. That's an interesting decision to not go up to the woods, but go get your flute.
It was just arrows on Pyramid Ledge. And Torin is going to see what's behind that out-of-logic book. Now, imagine we find the flippers in here. That tells you a lot about the logic, if they're here, for example. But...
yeah, in this case, finding flippers in desert would tell you that the flippers are logically locked behind myths and mirror. And tells you, hey, stop doing flipper checks. They're latent logic. You're not going to find what you're looking for. This trip is also going to tell us whether we need boots to finish desert today.
which is very valuable information.
And the answer is yes, of course we do.
Yep. And based on the key count, we got a hook shot in pod while we were looking at the other screens.
That's going to open up the mountain for Clown Routing 101. I wouldn't be surprised after this dive to see the first thing that Chusky do go up there and have a look at Green Pendant. Not Green Pendant. Green Pendant's on TR. It was Blue Crystal Hera, I think.
I believe so. Because we have a Green Pendant Turtle Rock. And a Pendant in Skull, so it has to be a Blue Crystal and Tower of Hera.
DrunkFutureSelf deciding to go to the pyramid instead. Well, no. Is this catfish for I Stole Your Bow? I think it is.
It could be, yeah.
And Torrin wants to have a look at Village of Outcasts, so that is where he's headed.
Well, it's the next most dense play after the pod side map, and with his teammate doing it, it makes sense to come here. Plus, I think he wants to activate the flute.
He's going to buy some bombs first, which, again, those are kind of important too, depending on where you're headed. But yeah, activating your flute when you have it's kind of important here, so Torrin. Ooh, Bioniclegenius. Was that an intentional death, or...?
I'm not certain.
Seems like it would be. Maybe it wasn't.
Maybe he took too many. Maybe he took too many hits in the conveyor belt room and decided taking a death to refill health was better than going through the hammer pegs to the center. Torrin wants to cape before he goes to the bumper cave side of the map.
And again, we do have knowledge of the fire rod, so we could, in theory, finish Skull Woods, but you kind of need a sword first. I think Torrin is hopefully now remembering to activate his flute.
And he is.
Yeah, that is Bombos in the pod big chest, so that could be useful later on. We're not sure yet.
That was absolutely an intentional death from Arcturus.
Yeah, beats walking out of Dark Maze.
No one
10
wants to
times
walk
out of 9.
No one wants to walk out of Dark Maze. No one.
So Torin has a choice here. Torin and Arcturus have a choice here. He can go directly into Skull Woods and see if there's a sword just waiting for him, or he can descend into Village of Outcasts and possibly even tackle Thieves Town here.
Either way, I do think going around the Skull Woods is still faster when you don't have a sword to cut through all of those bushes.
Oh, absolutely. Pulling a row of 10 bushes is slow. And Torin wants to go straight to the middle of Skull Woods. Not sure... I mean, this would have to be a key or an item for it to be at all worth it, right? Oh, he's just going to grab the pot key in the back. That makes sense. Is he gonna go check Bridge Chest?
It looks that way. DrunkFutureSelf has opted to go to Village of Outcasts.
Alright, so 3 things outside, 4 within Thieves Town, and then the South Dark World loop if we so choose, because all of our runners have gone east so far. That is a change of clothes for DrunkFutureSelf.
Torin, you don't have a sword.
Torin, no. It's, going directly to Moth, while a great idea is kind of impossible without something to cut the vines with. And I think... Oh boy.
Meanwhile, Arcturus is approaching Helmassar King. This is not an easy fight to do without a sword in Green Mail.
And Torin went to punch the wall. And nothing happened. So he's just going to wall master out.
Luckily, there are wall masters in the entire back of Skullwoods.
He does get the ability to check this bridge chest, though. Now, if this is a sword, it's going to be the ultimate facepalm for Torin. Okay, it's a sword for a door. It's a key. It's fine, because you just spent a key anyway.
Arc could not take another hit there, but Helmassar King is down for Arcturus. And he has our Ether Medallion. 2
coins in Palace of Darkness. So, while we know TR is a pendant in that 3rd coin could be Quake and could still be required out of GT to get in, we did see DrunkFutureSelf pick up an Ice Rod.
And that's in Thieves Town. So Arc
no Ice Rod hunt.
So Arc, it looks like Arc might be going to go get that catfish, and then he might actually hook him over.
That's a pretty good call, actually, because, it's either that or you're saving and quitting and walking that way anyway. You save yourself a little bit of traversal time and getting catfish out of the way since you've already done Zora.
Although, I would think Arc would be looking to rush up the mountain here soon.
Oh, absolutely. With that hook shot, you kind of have to, don't you?
And BG doing this fight with Helmassar.
I saw that you get so used to... and by the way, we also have boots somewhere in Village of Outcasts, probably also Thieves Town. You get so used to dashing around once you had the boots. You saw DrunkFutureSelf try to dash through that hallway at blind and turn himself around because he was about to run into a Stelphos.
And DrunkFutureSelf is showing why the community calls this the Hellway.
Or the Heckway. Oh, boots are in the brewery, we're being told. Thank you.
Thank you, chat.
And that does open up a couple things that we can look at. It does not put Aghanim in Logic without a single sword, as we do have a cape. So I didn't get to see, since we kind of picked it up a minute in, if anyone had a look at the Lumberjack Ledge.
And we have a big key for Skullwoods. I think we still have an item in the wild. Well, there's one. But I think we still have a second item, which could be on Mothula.
Could very well be. Bioniclegenius getting the news, hey, there's boots available in the Village of Outcasts. That's where he's headed. Yeah, the second item appears to be on Moth. Did Torrin check the big chest yet?
Not yet. He picked it up in Pop Prison and continued around.
Question from chat, what division is this in the Open League, Zeke?
This is the Castle Tower division.
Oh, DrunkFutureSelf taking a death on his way to the basement of Thieves Town. Ouch.
It's easy to do. Enemies here do a heart of damage on blue mail. And he's opting to leave.
You know, depending, I can't really blame him.
Bottle Merchant just had a sword.
Bottle Merchant had a sword. By the way, those were mitts in Thieves Town too.
Of course they were.
Of course, your French vanilla mitts. You hate it. You'll hate it so much you want to love it, because
wasn't Bottle Merchant. It was Sick Kid behind a bottle. Where was their bottle then?
Where did Bioniclegenius find a bottle? There was a bottle in pot. Okay. So
okay,
then,
that all checks out. My apologies. I thought we saw late Bottle Merchant.
Late Bottle Merchant. I mean, money wasn't exactly scarce at the other parts of the scene, so that would surprise me. First boots check on the way. It's gonna be another bottle.
It's a bottle. DrunkFutureSelf is gonna go right back to town now.
Oh, absolutely. He wants that sword.
And Ark is on the mountain.
Actually, kind of surprised we didn't see DrunkFutureSelf go for King's Tomb before heading back to Kakariko. Because you could have fluted back here from King's Tomb.
Just a little surprising. But when a sword's on the line, it kind of escapes your mind.
Yeah, this is kind of unfortunate for Clown Routing 101. Arcturus Chusky on the mountain, probably what the team needs to do. However, unfortunately, unless Torrin goes directly to Bonk Rocks after his dive into Thieves Town, they are not going to be seeing a sword for a little bit, provided one isn't in Paradox Cave. Pair of Go Fast shoes for Bioniclegenius and another one for Torrin. And we're going to see Little Thieves Town from both runners.
And our first checks here in Paradox are... There's our flippers.
Well, that puts that book into play. It also puts us a mirror away from Swamp Palace. Also kind of unfortunate is you see Arcturus Chusky just kind of standing there as Torrin goes through Thieves Town. We're going to have the mitts come into their knowledge while he's on the mountain. That's going to leave 6 checks behind.
That's unfortunate, but... And there is our third medallion. Alright.
The troll item we can have for TR isn't even for TR. It's for Meyer. It's the Cane of Samaria.
Yep. Although at the moment, the troll item for TR and Meyer for Clown Riding appears to be a sword.
Yeah, unfortunately, unless a sword happens upon in Tower of Hera, we will be seeing a Hammer Moldorm in just a couple moments. Kind of hope that item on Mothula isn't something important then. Oh, Ark is having some serious squirrel issues. And finally mitigates that. Oof.
Any Link to the Past player will tell you, dead rocks are the worst enemy in the game. Torrin having some trouble. Uses his cape to get through there, but his hearts are not looking good for this attic.
Yeah, Torrin's going to have to be really careful here. If you walk into any of these crickets, you're dead. He will luckily die to a hammer pound or a hook shot, but as soon as you walk into this next room, that's asking for trouble.
We do have a big key.
And I think... Well, I thought Ark might have set up for a Death Warp here, but he's only on 2. We're going to see a magic bet from DrunkFutureSelf. Or we're not, because he doesn't have anything to check it with.
Sometimes muscle memory tells you just go in there and see what you can do.
How is it you like to play this game? No think, only go?
I have said those words before.
Yeah, at this point, you kind of hope that Arc knows the hook speed set up for Harapot. Unfortunately, it looks like he's not.
He has not been the Village of Outcasts yet.
Oh, that's true. He doesn't have the boots. Never mind. So, a good old-fashioned climb here. Torinn, unfortunately, taking a death in Thieves Town. This is going to be textbook for Bioniclegenius. He has a sword, so we'll be able to do it. We'll be seeing a scripted blind fight, perhaps, here.
And that's Isaac roughing up Torinn before he gets up to the back of Thieves Town.
A little bit of muscle memory there, goes up to pick up a key that he's already used to open this door. Yeah, muscle memory will kill you if you get so used to doing the same stuff and poking around for hearts under pots, trying to just, eke out as much as you can about every dungeon dive. Ooh, careful, Torinn.
And Blind imparting us his pun of the day.
Who just misses that one slash, and now Blind is running away from Bioniclegenius.
Has a cape if things go wrong.
Cape and a full magic bar, so this is pretty easy peasy here. Get that last stab in, and Blind is down. That'll be a crystal in the bag. Unfortunately, Blind themselves carrying only 10 arrows. And we have a Moldworm down, too.
Yeah, Moldworm just went down for the magic mirror.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty good. Man, oh man, a mirror on Moldworm. And in most typical situations, you want the mirror to get up to Tower of Hera. How about the mirror locked in Tower of Hera behind Hookshot and Hammer?
And by the look of it, we have an item in the basement.
Oh no. Okay, well hopefully, you don't want to leave this behind in a co-op situation. Unless you're darn sure Torrin's going to spend more time up here than you. Oh, Torrin, did you... Oh no.
I think Torrin forgot to check the big chest.
I don't know if it's the big chest, or if he didn't get the attic ceiling bombed. And it looks like he's going back downstairs, so it's probably the big chest. And this is something you want to check, regardless of the situation. You don't want to be in that, stuck on hammer blind sort of thing here, like we currently see for Clownouting 101. Unfortunately, there's only a shield in this check, and it is Torrin's first, whereas Bioniclegenius does have a red shield. You see, it did mitigate some of the fireball frenzy. Oh my goodness, would you look at that?
What did we find in the basement?
Only a Cane of Samaria.
Well, why is that there?
I don't know. I'd sooner ask you that question, Zeke. Oh, it's an absolutely loaded Tower of Hera. Absolutely. And Arcturus Chusky remembering, I should probably do Spiral Cave before I leave. We do also have Spike Cave in Logic, although that's something, if Spiral's nothing, the other runner, while up here, can, check that on their way out. If there's need to. We're actually getting really close to go mode. Or no mode, rather. No one has everything yet. But, Torrin, here's the problem. When you have a cape, you don't have a weapon to attack blind with.
Yeah, hammer blind is a trial.
think Torrin's just kind of gathering himself for a moment. When he unpauses here, it's not going to be very comfortable. Oh, look at that dance. He was doing pretty well until he just got triangulated upon.
Yeah.
That might be something you just kind of wait till later for at this point. I mean, you have the knowledge of the mitts and the ice rod. You don't know about your swords yet. If that's the one thing that you might need based on what your teammate has already found, then you think you start digging around for a sword, and then you just go cleaning up as many dungeons as you can.
Unfortunately, Ark has not checked that sick kid yet. Meanwhile, Bioniclegenius is going back toward Mothula.
Yeah, and half magic fire rod does kind of make this fight a little bit more comfortable. The blue mail will guarantee that everything in the arena only does 1 heart of damage, as the dig game gives you a massive refund. Or you sprain your knee or something, it's a liability. I don't know.
That's a little grim.
I mean, you're running around with boots. Anything could happen in Hyrule. And not having mirror, Torrin is going to do pegs and probably save and quit. I hope he remembers he can't hammer dash. Without a sword. Alright, DrunkFutureSelf making his way back towards Palace of Darkness. Not a very friendly moth fight for Bioniclegenius, as he's just... Oh, goodness.
That's unfortunate.
He's just running around trying to get away from all of the spikes. And Arcturus Chusky has finally checked Sick Kid. And Clown Routing 101 now knows of a sword. And that's going to be an easy sword to pick up for Torrin, having the smith in tow. He's going back to Kakariko anyway. Although, Torrin...
He doesn't have a bottle.
You have a flute? He doesn't have a bottle, that's true.
We know that there's a bottle in Pod, and we know that there's a bottle at Bonkrox.
And now they know about... Neither of them have done boots checks yet. Bioniclegenius getting poked by a turtle on his way through to Helmasaur. Luckily, Blue Mail does... if you go through all of the Light World with Green Mail, you pick up Blue Mail late into the Dark World in the vanilla game, but if you get it early here, it makes the game considerably less punishing.
And DrunkFutureSelf is going through the Helmasaur fight, as Bioniclegenius gets another matchup with the Moth, going for Fighter Sword spins and flashes.
And a little bit of Fire Rod with that half magic. That's still a good 4 or 5 shots sitting in the meter right now. And Moth sitting in the middle of the arena is going to make that a little bit more friendly than last time around. And we'll see our second pendant drop from the ceiling. Unfortunately, Moth's item just 20 rupees.
Speaking of pendants, I believe Turtle Rock is in play now.
Oh, it most certainly is. And when we're a sword from Go, as you and I are aware, and I'm sure the runners will be acutely aware of this as well based on how much ground they've covered already. Turtle Rock on Fighter Sword, you gotta feel good about a Hammer Trinex if you're going all the way. But your swords could be basically anywhere.
But you also don't do Turtle Rock immediately in this scenario, I would think. If you know you're a sword from Go mode, you do everything before Turtle Rock.
Yeah, this is a little something you'd like to call Blitz mode, where you're just running through all of your dungeons until you hit your Go.
Yeah. Look, you open what you can looking for a sword. You do not leave stuff looking for a sword to hope for a sword in GT, because that's not always guaranteed.
Or sometimes you might see 3 swords in GT, you never know. Oh my goodness. Okay. Arcturus was having a little fun with the lizards up in the attic, but he got through okay.
I thought they were grasshoppers.
I'm already on record as calling them crickets. I don't know. Take what you can get, I guess.
Dark World rats, then.
DrunkFutureSelf is going where exactly? Oh, Dark Cross. We haven't seen Dark Cross yet?
I don't think we have.
Luckily, if you know where they are, you can pick up a few hearts down here in Thieves' Town's basement, but you gotta be careful. These Azacs will still do a heart of damage if they happen to touch you.
BG giving us a mountain trip. Does have the mint, so can do a full clear of the mountain. And there is a comment in chat that Arcturus is already in Sword Go mode.
Absolutely. This came really quick. We're not even 3/4 of an hour into the seed. And our runners have already uncovered pretty much everything they need to clean everything up. Except for that fabled Master Sword of Evil's Bane.
And there's our Sanctuary Heart today, hiding out at Mireshed. You always know it's a Sanctuary Heart because, well, it full heals you.
Here's a little guts for you. We're going into Mire with a fighter sword. And without the King of Samaria.
It sounded fun until you said there was no Samaria yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, I Stole Your Bow doesn't know about Samaria and Hera Basement just yet. Or the Mirror, for that matter, so they can't have a gander at Desert.
Has DrunkFutureSelf not picked up his fire rod yet?
I don't believe he has. He hasn't been back to the woods to pick that up. He might be waiting for Mirror to do it on the way to Skull Woods. Which, of course, doesn't work if the Mirror's in Skull Woods, but we know it's on Moldorm, so this kind of works out for him as long as he doesn't have to go in that direction anytime soon.
Remind me, what else was in Dark Maze? In Torin. Oh, what else is in the Dark Maze is a bunch of Kodongos, for one.
Oh, they're kind of important, too. Because without a mirror, that's the only way you're getting out of here in any quick fashion.
Swordless Dark Maze. That is not an easy thing to do.
And we see Torin on the right side of the screen, so I think maybe he's lost his footing a little bit, getting bounced around. Hopefully he can find it and not walk into one of these Kodondos.
Is something else back here?
I don't recall anything of importance being in here. Maybe the big key's back there. Because I know Bombos was in the big chest, and Torin hasn't picked that up yet.
Torin picked it up on his... He did a hammer jump over, so he picked it up.
Oh, okay, he does have it. Got it. Why would you hammer jump with 3 keys?
Dark Maze Comfort.
Yeah, some runners prefer to do Dark Maze one way or the other, depending on what they're more comfortable with. And Torin's going to say no thanks to the rest of, that one item that's sitting in Dark Maze, and he's going to go straight to Helma.
And Arcturus is going to do a little magic trick here. He just left the purple chest with Stumpy.
How could you? That's a perfectly good chest. Not to mention the contents within it could be useful.
Yeah, but you can't run with the chest. So I think Ark is just going to do a little magic to trick the game thinking he still has it.
I guess Gary was having a blueberry picnic. because that's all we got out of that purple chest.
And I think we're about to get a trip into Swamp Palace.
We sure are, and this is the most single-dense dungeon that we have in the world right now. And Torin has to do a swordless, lampless turtle basement. He does have fire rods, so he can at least get the torches, but he's going to have to hammer all of these terrapins. There's the mirror for Bioniclegenius. Let's see if he goes back in, or if they bank that the mirror is going to lock what they need.
And Torin lights the other torch to get as much light going through his room, because there's the torch going out. Unfortunately, that light does not carry over to this hallway. So, DrunkFutureSelf is looking a little low on health right now.
Yeah, being in mire with no powder, no mushroom, and no cane, he's going to pick up that heart container out of the big chest. I believe that's the second item. And unfortunately, he's going to have to find somewhere else to be. Which is rather unfortunate, because in just a moment here, Bioniclegenius is going to pick up a cane of Samaria in the basement.
Yeah, the timing on that is unfortunate, isn't it?
No, that's an ultimate feels bad right there.
And I do believe DrunkFutureSelf is picking up his fire rod.
Oh, good. I was starting to worry if he'd forgotten about it.
And Palace Darkness goes down for Torin. What else is in the back? Because Torin is going back there. Oh, he didn't jump down, did he? No, he has the hookshot, doesn't he?
No, he didn't. He completely skipped on Stalfos' basement, and he needs his hookshot to get his mirror and his cane.
And beat Swamp Palace.
Well,
Minor important.
It's only a smidgen.
And Arcturus going for the back of Swamp Palace, skipping left side.
I like the left side gambit in this situation. You, as a runner yourself, know that all you need to complete the seed is a sword. If that's where you're at, you can help your teammate by just confirming where items are when you find them, because the chances of finding a sword in the wild here, a lot better than if you just dug around and never thought about it again. You kind of want to clear what's on your critical path, and a sword will show up eventually.
Meanwhile, we have new information on Death Mountain as well. Bioniclegenius is in Dark Death Mountain.
Yes, BG did open up that TR portal. I didn't see what the medallion was on TR, but it doesn't matter because we have all three. Also of importance is picking up those flippers for Torin, since we have two dungeons that are illogically locked by him, and one is hard locked in Swamp. Arcturus Chusky here. Gonna have to do a little bit of fighter sword spin action, or we're gonna see menu boss.
We're going with swordless strats today. And BG found the red mail in Hookshot Cave.
Considering we only have one runner on 2 rows of hearts, that being DrunkFutureSelf, that red mail is probably going to be very nice for some of our players to witness here.
And Torin has not gone back to Kakariko after his trip to Pod for sword. So whatever the medallion is on, even though he has all his medallions, he cannot get Turtle Rock opened. However, Torin will be able to find out what's on Ether Tablet. Not that anything is important there. Because if there's a sword there, you know that's not your Master Sword.
Now, that would be your tempered at the earliest, and even that knowledge would be important going forward, because that will speed up your GT climb considerably. But beyond that, the only other thing you could hope to see on the tablet at this point would probably be silvers. Maybe powder or a heart container at the worst, but silvers would be the utmost value from any check you make that isn't a sword. And 20 bucks from Argus, so Swamp coming up pretty empty. I also don't remember seeing any dungeon items in the back, so could we have had... I know we probably had one up front that I didn't see. By the way, look at where Bioniclegenius went.
Turtle Rock. I mean, he has everything to clear this dungeon. Wouldn't you?
You can scope it out and take care of it, yeah. There's no reason not to.
The only consideration here is how comfortable are you with the Hammer Trinex?
Well, regardless of comfort level, it looks like Bioniclegenius will be taking a whack at it. Nothing, Z? Come on.
I figured I'd let chat react for me.
All right. Well, back at Skullwoods for DrunkFutureSelf. Where is Arcturus? Is in the Mire area. We might see desert, because Torinn knows that desert is boot slot.
Ooh, Trolldorm gets another. That's a sword.
Oh my goodness.
So that, I believe, is technically go mode for a team no mode for our team Clown Routing 101.
Yeah, that is go mode for Arcturus Chusky. And no mode for 101. And we just had DrunkFutureSelf in that area without the mirror. And without a cane, which means he doesn't know about that Master Sword sitting in there. So if they find another sword, they might just go for it. And that'll be a huge advantage for Clown Routing 101. If they find a sword in the same path, that'll be their temper.
That said, Clown Routing does have a uphill climb because we've got a lot of dungeons left to clear for both runners.
And the key, of course, is going to be on the right side because of the small key on the torch. Where the items will be in desert is another story. We'll find out in just a moment. There's your big key. Oh, and we have a key for a key in Turtle Rock. Slightly unfortunate, but you're still looking for a sword, and especially with Trinex coming up, something that I Stole Your Bow is probably going to do with every dungeon they come across at this point.
And we're looking for that other item here in desert. And I believe it's on the moth.
The moth?
The moths that are underground, the land moth. Land mothlas.
Land mothula. Mothmolas? Yeah. I'm not sure if I quite agree with checking the big chest before Landmo here, because if Landmo has your second item, you're just not bothering going back in. Torinn with mitts, with hammer, without a sword, is going to at least check Dark Death Mountain, and he'll have knowledge of red mail. You know, pretty nice bit of safety. Again, between both runners on Clown Routing 101, they only have 9 hearts maximum.
And the answer is that Bombos Medallion from the big chest of Pod.
Luckily, Half Magic Fire Rod makes this Lammeless fight quite, shall I say, boring? Well, that made it a little bit less boring, because Lammo decided it wanted to go to the top left today. Just outside of the range of that Fire Rod for Chusky. And so far, Bioniclegenius coming up empty. No sword to be had in Turtle Rock.
DrunkFutureSelf going to fight Moldorm and get his cane out of a very well-loaded Tower of Hera.
To answer chat, when the first sword was found by Clown Routing 101, it was because the one player that went to Palace of Darkness had the bottle and was able to check it eventually. The other bottle was locked by boots, and neither player had mirror yet. When Chusky was up on the mountain, he didn't have mitts, so Torrin is making those checks now in search of possibly another sword, even though we have knowledge of two. And Torrin will pick up his sword now.
Bioniclegenius is at Laser Bridge.
And that's an intentional death. He did take the safety door at 1.5 hearts. So this is a continued sword hunt for I Stole Your Bow.
And Arcturus wants a potion refill before he goes back to Misery Mire. Given you're on, Master Sword, I don't blame him.
We do have Cape and Half Magic, though. So regardless, you're going to have a pretty easy Vitreous fight as long as you just spam the heck out of your swing button. Alright, so we will see Bioniclegenius is going to have to do Hammer Trinex here.
Always exciting.
And Torrin is opting to do Fighter Sword Mothula. Interesting routing decision when you know where a Master Sword is in a dungeon you can clear along the way, since you're basically at this point just wanting to clear dungeons.
I don't disagree here, because if you get this and Thieves Town out of the way, you don't have to come back to this corner of the map.
Alright, here we go. Going straight for the Ice Head first, probably the right call, because it'll troll the heck out of you if you don't. That's the Ice Head out of the way. Now the Fire Head. Yeah, we have Red Mail, so Trinex isn't going to do as much damage as he would in another situation, but he'll still bite, and he'll hurt.
Like that.
See there. Oh boy. Oh. Yikes.
Be careful, BG.
And that should be the Firehead. No, one shot short. And Torrin pulls the hammer out on Moth, trying to crush that bug.
And unfortunately, BG gets the hammer hit and recoils into Trinex's Fire Breath.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Torrin victorious against Moth now that he can finally get there. And he's going to take his pendant and probably... I still don't like going to Skullwoods first here. Just because you would like to flute away from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the ideal plan would have been Thieves Town so you could flute away from there. But, to be fair, Torrin did go to Moth, try to go to Moth without a sword. It probably was on his mind.
Yeah, when something like that happens, it just kind of weighs on you for a little bit.
Meanwhile, take a look up in the top right, DrunkFutureSelf.
Yeah, we've got Ice Palace going on here, and Ice has been spitting out swords for me, at least lately, and we saw one earlier today. So could we see a third? I was wondering where the 6th Pengator was, and then they just kind of uncoupled on the same layer. That's an early big key for Ice, so we'll see if he opts to do the switch flip or not. Arc opting for cape dashes with Master Sword? Okay.
I mean, a favorite strategy of mine for certain, but saves you some arrows.
I wouldn't be worried about an arrow count when you see Clown Routing still has Eastern Palace to clear. Oh, Bioniclegenius taking another unfortunate death to Trinex. This time he just gets stepped on. Trinex being super rude. And Torrin enacts revenge on Blind for all the trouble Thieves Town has given him. Zeke, where do you gather our other swords are? Never mind. That's the same spot it was earlier!
I'm gonna go with Ice Palace Spike Chest has a sword.
Alright, and that puts DrunkFutureSelf in go mode. And now, no mode for I Stole Your Bow.
Now, the thing is, that's an on-the-way check. So if they open that check, they can get a Tempered Sword. Well, Checkerboard Cave is very slightly out of the way.
Yeah, we might not see I Stole Your Bow even think about checking Checkerboard Cave. At this point, that is a huge advantage for Clown Rounding 101. Tempered Sword makes the remaining boss fights easier, makes the GT climb faster, and certainly makes Ganon much less of an affair.
Right, we have a very comfortable heart count this time. BG's Trinex fight. Promptly gets bit by the snake. Just takes 5 hammer hits to kill Trinex here.
And Trinex, we know, has an item we saw both map and compass on Laser Bridge. Unfortunately, like many other things in the seed, it's just 20 bucks.
And Arc gets the Icebreaker. The optimal thing here for Clown Routing is opening that check along the way.
You kind of have to hope that Arc has told Torrin about the sword and checkerboard before he goes into Mire. Since it's, you know, something that all 4 runners were looking for at one point, is that extra sword. We are over an hour into this little tilt between Clown Routing 101 and I Stole Your Bow. I'd like to invite everyone to follow these 4 runners. We got a couple Link to the Past stalwarts on the right-hand side and a couple recent Mentor Tournament graduates on the left. Both of these 2 players, Arcturus and Torrin, learning a few things and showing some stuff this past summer. So show them your love and all of the support for all 4 of these participants in this starting week of League.
Absolutely. And Cold Stare goes down for DrunkFutureSelf. And right as one Cold Stare fight ends, here comes another.
And, you know, with Tempered Sword, it's easy to corral them in the corner and then just rip off a bunch of Fire Rod. Unfortunately, they get away from Chusky, but he's going to just, you know, melt them down, as Half Magic Fire Rod is wont to do.
And Torrin is going for Swamp Palace now.
And Torrin should know he can just go mode through swamp, so this is not a bad choice. Where are you going? This is not to Swamp Palace.
What's on Hylia Island?
I don't remember even seeing it. Did Torrin just kind of change his mind to go to... Oh, he wants that sword out of ice. That's what he wants.
Okay, that makes sense. That puts Arcturus on Tempered Sword, by the way.
It sure does. And with only Eastern, Skullwoods, and TR to go, this has got to be a very comfortable endgame for Arcturus.
And from a comment in chat thought that Torrin was going to go get the lamp.
You know, when Lamp is free in Hype Cave, maybe you consider it just to make some of your dark rooms faster, because it does make your dark rooms faster. But the only dark rooms we have left are fixed speed anyway in Turtle Rock.
I
lied. I lied a lot. He still has to do Mire.
I am looking at this. I have never seen a icebreaker with a chicken sprite. The block covers your sprite.
Wow, okay. That was something to look at for sure.
Anyways, we have a Swamp Palace trip for DrunkFutureSelf coming up.
And that's their first as a team, so we'll probably see him check anything on the main path but skip left side.
I mean, in Team Go mode, that checks out.
Well, yes. Hey, if you wanted to shoot the moon for a sword, you could, but I don't know if left side is worth the time.
I don't think it saves enough time with what you have left.
Chat bringing up a really good point, and that's a thank you for one of our trackers. We should give our trackers some love too. Lady Laura Linda mentioning you might want the castle tower climb to be a little bit nicer with that lamp as well. Although with Fire Rod it's not terrible. You have to know where the torches are in that little unrailed room on I think it's the 4th floor. That you got to watch out for, because those guards will come out of nowhere and knock you straight down.
Yes, they will. And sure, if you're comfortable with Fire Rod, it's completely doable. But not a lot of people I've found are that comfortable unless they're very experienced with this game.
So if I had to guess, I would think that Torrin picks up his lamp before going to Swamp. Or hopefully.
We're about to have simultaneous Master Sword Cold Stare fights.
And both runners opting for that Bombos Open, too. Which will give them ample use of the Fire Rod to make this fight a little bit easier.
And you might notice, Arcturus only has 2 dungeons left other than our Twin Towers.
And all he has to do is run up and, commit a moth and go straight through TR. And we're talking about GT already. Wow.
So, I'm guessing with a Tempered Sword, with Fire Rod, with half magic, someone called an Exterminator.
I didn't see a cold stare. All I saw was a puddle on the floor when I walked in. Melted ice. That Fire Rod is a glorious thing in Ice Palace. Cold stereo. Just seeing that. That's kind of clever, actually. I like it. Alrighty. So now Torrin has Desert, Swamp, Mire, and TR. And Bioniclegenius has Desert, Pod, Swamp, Mire, and TR. Oh no, he killed Trinex. Never mind. He still has that extra mountain climb to get to GT, though. And we appear to have lost DrunkFutureSelf, but rest assured, I'm sure he's doing just fine. Swamp Palace isn't that scary when you're at 13 hearts, red mail with a Master Sword.
He's on Blue Mail.
He's on Blue Mail. Oh, that's right. He hasn't gone to Hookshot Cave. I don't think he's going to be picking up Red Mail then, because that's a little bit out of the way.
That depends. Does he find a Tempered Sword?
Well, you could still be looking for a sword, that's true. And if that's the case, Hookshot Cave, well, no, because Bioniclegenius already got Hookshot Cave, so you wouldn't be checking it for a sword. The only reason you'd be thinking about picking it up is solely for the safety of the Red Mail. I don't know if that's worth it either.
That depends. Do you have a Tempered Sword? Because if not, maybe having that Red Mail would make your Master Sword fight feel a little more comfortable.
Well, you do have a maximum of 27 checks ahead of you in GT as well.
And as predicted, Torinn did pick up the lamp before Swamp Palace.
Now, Arcturus is in a very good situation here for Clown Routing 101. He gets to go and pick up anything there is on the critical path in TR and let Torinn know what he needs to do. Which at this juncture probably isn't a whole lot, seeing as we've already seen most of TR from Bioniclegenius. You can steal the Pokey Key and still be fine. Especially since, it's a key for a key. Torinn's still digging around Swamp Palace just a little bit. I don't remember if there was anything down here of any importance. Maybe a heart container? Oh, the big key for... You'd think you'd remember big chests if you're watching the stream. It's powder. Okay, that is of decent importance. That's a really nice safety.
I love it. We have two people in Swamp Palace at the same time. And
a third having just left, too. In DrunkFutureSelf, we saw as the stream came back up, he was holding a bright blue crystal in the air, even though the tracker will tell you it's red.
we're getting a left side swamp play from BG.
This is, as I said, you're shooting the moon looking for that tempered sword, because you don't want to be stuck on Master Sword Silverless. You don't want to be stuck on Master Sword for the climb, to be honest, but at any rate here, I don't like it, because as we've seen, it's a god swamp.
And Torinn showing us some excellent Master Sword spins, pulling two puffs at once to kill them both at once. Or occasionally tinking the hook shot on Argus.
And it's something you might see runners do with Fighter Sword as well. It will have the same effect because you double spin the puffs, which, causes them to die anyway.
Because for those who aren't aware,
Oh no! Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's a sword on left side swamp.
Oh! That's an interesting spot for a sword. So DrunkFutureSelf will not have a tempered sword unless he checks the checkerboard cave here.
Well, DrunkFutureSelf also hasn't done swamp yet, so he might not think about checkerboard cave at all. Unless he's digging specifically for silvers. Oh, he was. It's just not marked. Never mind. So yeah, that's not necessarily a great thing. I think DFS is good enough that Master Sword Silverless isn't going to phase him at all.
As you said, he's been around community for a little while.
Just a little bit. formerly known as All I Want for Christmas, are my two good bees. He is a good bee, by the way.
And Torrin is going directly to... What is the fastest way to get to Checkerboard Cave?
The fastest way to Checkerboard Cave? That's hard to say. I like what Torrin's doing, but there's a lot of debris in the way to dash up this way, so it... I hope he didn't just mirror onto the rock. Okay, he's just in front of it. Good.
And as Chet points out, that's all 4 swords known, too.
All right, so everyone here is going to finish on Tempered, but if and only if DFS goes to Checkerboard.
So of the 3 runners we got to see fight Argus, due to technical difficulties from DrunkFutureSelf, we get to see... What we get to see is 3 completely different methods of fighting Argus.
And opting for that double spin to finish it off, and that would be a crystal for Bioniclegenius. His 7th dungeon?
If my count is correct, yes.
And
should be 7. No, his 8th. I believe he was in pod as well.
Yeah, that would be 8. Okay. I'm not used to runners having TR done before anything else. It's kind of weird.
And to be fair, the icon for Turtle Rock with Trinex's faces all up top, it's actually hard to see in our little 4-player screen. But
so Torrin opting to do Desert before Mire, which I believe is also an interesting call. And do we happen to remember what the situation was in Mire for the big key?
And BG just let DFS know where a sword is.
That is huge for I Stole Your Bow, and you have to imagine that DrunkFutureSelf is running straight for that.
Hey, look where he's going.
Oh, imagine that. I had no idea. DrunkFutureSelf, please. He just walked in, looked at it, and walked right back out. Amazing. Okay, so Arcturus Chusky checking up Laser Bridge. He's going to find the key on the bottom, and it's vanilla location as usual, of course, because why not? And relay that information to Torrin, because you're going to have to do Laser Bridge no matter what.
Unlike other items as community jokes have vanilla locations on Laser Bridge, that is actually that key's vanilla location.
Alright, now a Mire for Torrin, and then a TR. As you see, Bioniclegenius already in Mire, doing what I think would have been the more optimal route, because you can flute away from the back of Desert. I mean, in this situation, it's just... This is going to be a free Vitreous for Bioniclegenius. And kind of free for DFS, too. With Tempered Sword, you can do NMG spins. You can still do cape dashes. You can do whatever. You've got all kinds of toys at your disposal here.
Yeah, similar. It's going to be free for Torrin as well. It was not quite so free for Arc. We'll give him that.
Yeah, Arc having done Vitreous on Master Sword, while not exactly the worst situation, definitely wasn't, you know, the best situation either.
But Arc did have a far easier time with Trinex than BG did.
That Tempered Sword definitely lends to that. Now, for Arcturus Chusky, that is his last dungeon, his last pendant. He already has 7 crystals. So, chat, you know what's coming next.
I believe there are 22 checks in Gan's Tower. Oh, and it looks like the big key for Mire was in Spike Chest, so it's a pretty quick Mire as well.
Yeah, that's a free mire. That's super free mire. Where is BG going? Did BG full clear mire looking for silvers?
No. He's just going to this store instead.
Well, how does he have 2 keys? Why does he have 2 keys and he's approaching from there? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh! Oh. I think we just saw a Ice Rod Spooky setup.
I would believe that we would.
Nice. Torrin went to go powder to Anfair, and then remember, if you do that, you lose Spooky. Torrin, you don't need... Torrin, please don't. Oh, was that a block throw?
That was a block throw. Are you trying to show off, Torrin? Is this... He just did Fluteless
Spooky.
What? Okay. That's a flex if I've ever seen one.
Nicely done.
All right, meanwhile, Arcturus Chusky quietly just digging around through GT. Got 2 keys in Hope Room. That's a free Blue Goo in Compass Room. Unfortunately, no key to be had here, so we're going left. And unfortunately for DrunkFutureSelf, he does not have a cape, so this is kind of a bad situation for him to be in on 2 hearts.
2 hearts. These eyeballs just happen to do 2 hearts. Actually, he's on blue mail. They do 3. But
it was regardless an Oko situation, so that's oof. But he does prevail. And down goes Vitreous after 8 quick arrows. And also for Torrin. Actually, pretty much in sync with one another. And also for Bioniclegenius, about 5 seconds ahead.
Shortly before they got the BG also defeated. We just had 3 Vitreous fights on screen at once.
Well, to be fair, Trey, unless you can teach them how to X-ray into chests, they're going to pick up shields, and there ain't much you can do to coach that out.
If it wasn't inherently obvious, Trey Spire is the other teammate.
So still no key yet. No boomerangs, so we're going to have to do some more typical strats for left side GT. Developer-intended strats, you could say.
I mean, I'm always a fan of Samaria strats.
Oh, Samaria is a beautiful thing. It's so busted. It's so versatile. It's a weapon. It's a paperweight. It's a glitch stick.
You can use it to glitch through doors. Please don't do that in races.
Still no big key. And we'll be going to Rando Room in just a moment. Torrin and DrunkFutureSelf pretty much neck and neck here going to TR.
And that should have been chest number 13 that we just had on Arc's screen. There's a shovel.
Gee, I wonder where the silvers are. Hey, it's a big key! And up we go.
So, Tempered Sword, silverless. This is comfortable for a lot of runners. And we're going to have side-by-side Turtle Rock clears from Torrin and DrunkFutureSelf. And by side-by-side, I mean in opposing corners.
So unfortunately for Arcturus Chusky, he doesn't have a lot of magic for this gauntlet, so he's going to have to rely more on, that Tempered Sword is nice to have, but also just whatever the game happens to have in each room. Gauntlet 2 is not bad because you have pots to throw at the Stalfos, but Gauntlets 3 and 4, on the other hand, Zazax can get away from you quite handily.
Unfortunately, it does not have a boomerang to pick up that full magic that just dropped under that Beamos.
All right, Bioniclegenius finishing off. Desert, already having Turtle Rock done. He's got to climb the mountain to get to GT, but that's not too tall an order here. And Arc opting to check out a little bit of safety at Josh's room, which is probably a good call.
At 4.5 hearts, I would too.
You know, we might have just gotten a blue goo, but you're probably going to want to hold on to that for a little while.
And believe it or not, this is actually one of the rooms where I actually do like having sword beams. Or ether.
You know, ether just kind of makes Stalfos crumble apart at the seams. I might have picked up some arrows if I could here, just on the off chance you find silvers at the top, but there's also that chance he doesn't even bother looking for silvers at this point.
Isn't it great that the Stalfos Isaac prize pool is, you know, the good one?
You know, the best prize pool? The only prize pool that actually matters?
Anyone who plays Standard will tell you the bomb prize pool is amazing.
Oh yeah, bombs are great. But have you ever competed with the ability to just refill your magic by killing a skeleton? A sword beam troll for Torrin just flips that crystal switch when he didn't ask it to. How dare?
And we have Torrin and DFS basically on top of each other right now. BG is going right side in Gan's Tower, and Arc is in the Wizard rooms. My favorite rooms in this game. They're so satisfying.
They're so satisfying, but they're also so quick because they're already over. Meh.
I mean, part of the satisfaction is just how quick and easy they really are.
Right, Arc opting to use Lamp on the first couple. Gonna go ahead and flip over to Fire Rod, and boom, Torch is one done. Now, in the latest version of the randomizer, we did fix something, but we'll see it's not going to come into play much here because he's taking his time and refilling his magic before he comes up. So you won't be seeing any Jingle Glitch GTs this season.
Thank goodness.
You know, after we saw a number of different things happen to GT last season. Those cursory checks looking for silvers on the off chance that they're here. Oh boy, I thought for a moment he was about to flip over to mirror and accidentally drop all the way to the ground floor.
That would have been a disaster. And DrunkFutureSelf going for a little bit of a ride.
Right, Torrin did take the safety door on the, you know, just to make sure nothing bad could happen at Trinex. And
it wouldn't be the first time.
Now, DrunkFutureSelf having only half a heart coming down here to Laser Bridge, he will hit the safety door.
Preferably
no! That is not a place to put those!
Was that where I think it was?
Yes, it was!
Moldorm's last gift, everybody.
Oh, it's 10 out of 10 seed. 10 out of 10 seed, love it.
Well, I don't think with that, the rest of the season will not roll a better co-op seed than this, will it?
And that pretty much makes it freer than free. Although, you know, you only have 7 arrows, Arc, so you might want to kind of lay off the bow in Castle Tower here.
And then, don't miss.
Stay on target. And we got Trinex going down for Torrin. And DFS gets his key and gets dropped off Laser Bridge again. Ouch.
And Arcturus finishes up his agonometry lesson. Which leaves us only 2 fights. We fought Aga 2, so the next logical boss fight is, of course, Aga 1.
And we get to go backwards in time for a moment here and see what would have happened if we had climbed Castle Tower first. But we already know what would happen. But we have to do it anyway because the goal said so. That's provided he remembers, and he does. We have seen some runners just go, "Oh, I can kill Ganon now!" Ooh. And then you see the dreaded 6-letter D word, Dingus.
Ark opting, rather than use a precious silver, let's just light everybody on fire.
Hey, some runners should want to watch Hyrule burn.
It's true.
Torin and DrunkFutureSelf do have one advantage going into GT. They know where the big key is.
Torin has
They've
two
probably been
advantages.
told... Oh yeah, he knows where silvers are too. And how about the 10 arrow drop? Never mind on the slow go on the arrows. You can just fire away, my friend.
That said, Fire Rod is still just as effective as silver arrows in here. Granted, there is one room I actually say silver arrows are better than Fire Rod. And that is the first room after we get out of the dark rooms.
You mean this room right here? Oh, you mean
No.
I mean the next room? Yeah,
This room right here.
The red spear guards. If
Because-
you catch them off guard and silver them, they just fall over.
Well, also, if you happen to throw a silver arrow through their spear, it'll knock the spear down and hit them anyways. You can just pierce through the spear.
Silver arrows are so powerful, they'll splinter a spear in half. Nice hook key grab. Well done.
Meanwhile, BG entering the post-Lanmo 2 floor for another round of my favorite part of Ganon's Tower.
Ooh. Yeah, watch out. These floors are a little slippery. A little oil slick. So that's the last trick Aghanim has before you know, have to face off against his little parlor magic.
Another thing that everyone will agree, one tile wide paths are the worst.
Torin decided to pick up everything in Randomizer Room? I don't know.
Well, I can dig it.
No. We are not seeing that shovel in use today, unfortunately, because it had nothing.
And with BG checking everything, we'll probably get silvers as well.
BG does have one thing that no other runner has.
Butter.
A free 1-in-1 on Ganon. And I mean free.
You say it's free, but I've missed it before.
Haven't said his name much, but also shoutouts to our restreamer who apparently has your taste in puns, Zeke.
Yeah, shoutouts to Trayspire. And it looks like Ganon would like to remind us that the companion duck will not betray us, and in fact, cannot speak. But it can fly.
Well, it does speak. It just honks, you know. Would that be a companion goose? Never mind.
And Ark breaking out the magic cape for this phase because fire bats stop you from slashing. And stopping you from slashing means you don't get a one-cycle fire bat phase. And fire bat phase is very long.
Very long and somewhat dangerous, depending on what situation you're in. Torin making very quick work of this gauntlet.
And we have not had that many warps out of Ganon today either. and just a bit of silver, and Arcturus just has to cross the most dangerous bridge. And with that, get your GGs in chat for Arcturus Chusky of Clown Routing 101.
Arcturus will finish first out of our 4 runners today, clocking in on race time with a 1:35.37. That's actually a really solid time for, basically going everywhere looking for a sword for half the seed.
That said, it's not just who finishes first. With these modes, it comes down to your average time.
And with 3 runners still going, that average time makes all the difference in a moment. Now, if Torrin finishes before either of I Stole Your Bow, that's just, game over. But if something happens to Torrin between now and the Ganon fight, or on the Ganon fight to give them an opening, that would be kind of scary. And you have to imagine Torrin's going to pick up his silvers here. You don't not. In fact, he's checking Pre-Moldorm just to make sure he doesn't miss it somewhere.
Yeah, it was not Moldorm's first gift. It was Moldorm's last gift. I don't remember who to credit with that name. I just love it.
Honestly, it's a good name. It's a lot better than names we've given it before.
So, just in case I say the wrong one, I'm not going to credit that name until I find out otherwise.
All right, Bioniclegenius about to hit the top of Castle Tower. And Torrin currently at the top of Ganon's Tower, fighting Aga 2. So you're going to see dual Aghanims on the screen in just a moment, but they'll be time shifted.
Except for the fact that I think we're about to get or we might get one screen with both Aga fights here. Yeah, one Aga dies just so it can spawn in the tower on the other screen.
Yeah, didn't you know the game can only have one Aghanim on a restream at any given time?
This is different than Vitreous, where we can have 3 of them at once.
You got all your eyes on that, that's for sure.
Yeah. Everyone's looking for something there. And now, we have a castle tower climb for Torrin.
And no matter how you slice it, in an all dungeons mode, unless you're literally clawing away and have only managed, Master Sword, maybe Silvers, no half magic. When you're this well kitted out, Castle Tower feels like a breeze.
It feels a little less like breeze if you don't have a lamp. I'll give it that.
Yeah, DrunkFutureSelf with his Aga 2 fight. And Aga 2, just missing that double.
Meanwhile, BG's on Ganon with that Butter Sword, which is just 6 swings per phase.
6 swings for phases 1 and 2, still 4 for phase 3 because it always is. And then, in this particular instance, 4 silver arrows to knock down Ganon. And DFS has beaten Aga 2 up, and he will mirror back and join Torrin in Castle Tower.
Unfortunately, most of the tower behind.
Oh no, silver, my one true weakness. Getting A nice double to start things out on Ganon here. No!
Oh!
Oh, corner slash attempt on Ganon and Bioniclegenius. Gonna have to start that Ganon fight all over again.
Well, the good news is it is the Butter Sword player who fell, so it's still a quick fight.
It's still free. You've got 26 silver arrows. You've got the sword that erases phases 1 and 2. The only difference now is you're going to have a different set of teleports for phase 3.
The big problem is, right behind him right now is Torinn.
Yeah, Torinn right behind him. And we are seeing DrunkFutureSelf 1 minute ahead of Torinn due to a little minute or so of frame drops, so the timers are out of sync now. So this is a lot closer than it really looks. Oh boy, BG. Oh boy.
He definitely has 2 hearts right now, doesn't he?
Oh, he absolutely has 2 hearts.
Hey, how much heart damage do fire bats do in phase 4?
Too many. Yes, that's the number 2 and then many.
Of course. Wouldn't expect any less.
Well, you would hope for less. That's the problem.
I didn't say I didn't hope for less. I didn't expect any less.
So Bioniclegenius decided to go for the torch glitch. And no.
Walks into the fire bat. Oh boy. So, take 3?
Yeah, and the door is open as Torinn is about to drop into Ganon as well. Only seconds apart here.
So let's see how much time Butter saves compared to Silver's. Not Silver's, Tempered.
Yeah, I'd be impressed if Butter Sword could save time compared to Silver's.
They don't even accomplish the same thing.
Exactly why I'd be impressive.
And DrunkFutureSelf enters Aga 1. Our last showdown with the evil wizard. He's not evil because of anything. He's just evil because he takes so long.
All right, here's the 4th shot at phase 4 for Bioniclegenius. Once again, opting to go for that torch glitch. Even with Silver's, it's not exactly optimal, I would say, if you're going for a fast kill, but it is the safe way to handle this fight without having to worry about 2 torches to light, especially if you don't have any way to refill your magic waiting in the wings here. And Torinn opens up with a nice double. That's the 4th silver for Bioniclegenius, and that's the 4th silver for TorinnTheDragon!
They both have a 1x3 bridge to get across first.
Yes, and we've seen some stranger things happen, not just here, but in races all over A Link to the Past Rando. Bioniclegenius keeps his balance. Torinn runs across.
Yeah, which gives us our official finish times of... Bioniclegenius finishes at 1:44.05, and TorinnTheDragon finishes at 1:44.08 on race time.
That is about as close as you can make it, but unfortunately, that does mean with an average time of 1:40, that Clown Routing 101 has won this race. So let's get some GGs in chat for all 4 runners as DFS finishes up here.
Just gotta finish getting through phase 2 here. And we would like to, of course, let DrunkFutureSelf finish before we begin the interview.
I don't think we did that this time because we had like fire rod and stuff super early, so there's really nothing to break.
Hi DFS, you're live.
Hi.
Hello everyone, you're live.
Hey guys.
So, if you'll give us just a minute, DrunkFutureSelf is finishing up here on stream. Just entered phase 4.
Oh no, silver.
That is a great spot for Ganon to get dropped. And just one more torchlight will do it.
I saw you recoil back into the edge and was panicking a second.
Wouldn't you if that happened to you? If you're like, oh my god, I can't believe how close that was. You're just holding the directional on your controller about as far down as it can get.
And finishing with an official time of 1 hour, 45 minutes, and 9 seconds is DrunkFutureSelf. So get your GGs in chat for all 4 of our runners.
Oh, man.
So, I guess first question is, any thoughts on this seed?
That was insane.
I love this seed. Can we have another like it, please?
That was so much fun.
It was.
Yo, BG, you're the first and only person to find all 4 swords. How do you feel about that?
DFS kept going throughout the seed. Yeah, you're in go mode. You're in go mode. I'm going, dude, I'm on plastic. I'm not in go mode. And then I said, screw it. I'm left-siding swamp. I don't care. I need more swords. And then he found butter right after I finished that. When I was heading over to Meyer, I'm like, okay, it's right there. Great. Faster Ganon.
See, I was just thinking that there was going to be a lot of swords in GT. So I'm like, we'll find it eventually.
He actually said
Yeah.
that, and my response was, as I was doing left side swamp, or it could just be left side swamp and just screw everybody, And then I picked up the sword the next chest.
The game is sentient. It knows.
I've had sentient games that were evil. They put everything at last location possible.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's just called rando.
Rando's usually mixed, but this seed, on the other hand, this seed loved us.
It did.
First dungeon clear at what, 15 minutes? 10, 15 minutes?
Well, Zaro, did we have any questions we want to ask anybody specific?
Well, I have a question for one TorinnTheDragon.
Yeah.
Actually, I have 2. The first
no.
one is the first one I have for you is, don't worry, I'm not going to roast you too hard.
Oh, God.
All right, so what was your immediate reaction when you found out that you're punching vines in Skull Woods?
I autopiloted so hard. It's like, I believe I can actually get rid of these vines with my fist.
Yeah, you had an unfortunate circumstance where the swords just kind of evaded you for quite some time there on the seed.
Oh, yeah.
You finally got a bottle and eventually were able to turn it in for your first sword.
Yeah.
So, here's the other question I got for you. Why Fluteless Spooky in Meyer?
I don't know.
It looked cool. We'll give it that.
I don't know. I have no idea why I went with the Fluteless Spooky, but I went with it anyway.
So for everyone else in the room, even though he had missed the spooky setup in Darkmire 1, he did a block toss and did Fluteless Spooky for the Switch in Darkmire 3. Which is, that opens some eyes a little bit. And it's really fun to see at the open level that the players are showing off some stuff like that. And we saw all 4 of you do some pretty cool stuff on this seat. So everybody gets swag points today.
Maybe
I
just doing mostly all the freaking dark things without the lamp.
Torrin, I'll also point out you're the only player to get the book.
I had the
Oh.
book.
Oh, you had the book?
DrunkFutureSelf went for the book later. I think you had flippers when you went back for it, didn't you,
Okay.
DFS?
Yes.
That's just,
Because we skipped Zora for so long, and Bionicle was just like, hey, why don't you go check out Waterfall, because we're still looking for swords. And so when I was there, I found the book up there.
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately that book not really leading to anything. I don't think we even checked anything with it outside of maybe reading Ether.
I
just-
technically went into Desert Palace.
Oh yeah, you were able to go see that Desert was boots locked, which is valuable information, but not until you get
What
your
was
boots.
what was on
really.
Ether?
I don't think anybody checked the tablet.
Yeah, I
I
don't think
never-
we had tablets read. I don't think we had the pedestal read.
I read Bombos, which was I think
Oh.
20 rupees.
Yeah, actually, I think I remember seeing you do that after Swamp. So, this was a sword hunt seed. You had Fighter Sword, and everything else Go mode is in your inventory. What's going through everyone's minds at that point?
More swords.
More swords.
I was just thinking, I'm in go mode. Let's just go.
Yeah.
You have to imagine, with all of the game still ahead of you, a sword's going to pop up somewhere, right? And of course, it shows up in Ice Palace on your critical path. So there you go. But it was with silvers where they were. You had to feel like you were looking for another sword. Make some of your end game bosses. You have Meyer, you have Tittle Rock, you have the Ganon's Tower Climb. Make those a little bit more comfortable. So, was there any point where you were going to just say, "Screw it, I'm not going to look for swords anymore"?
I found
For
tempered.
me, but I actually was going to head over to Swamp Palace, and DFS was like, hey, there's Master Sword and Ice Palace. You should get them. Like, but Swamp's right there, and it's a red crystal. And he goes, do it. Go, okay, fine.
Yeah, when I found that Master Sword in Ice, I'm just like, I'm just gonna do Master Sword Silverless. It's gonna suck, but I can do it.
Yeah.
And then we found the tempered, and I'm like, yes, please. Actually, I did a double take because I went in there, looked at it left, and I'm like, no.
We
We
saw that.
absolutely called you out on
We
that.
saw that on that. We're like, hey, he's taunting us. He doesn't actually want a sword at all.
Like at first I saw it and I just saw red, and I'm just like, oh, red rupee, just leave. And then as I'm leaving, I'm like, no, that says 3. That's
Yeah,
the third level
it's-
sword.
That means it's 3 red rupees. No. And it was right after BG had picked up that butter, so he had told you that's there. I hope.
Mhm. No, he told me
I
where
was
it was.
laughing
I'm just
about
like, I'm just not going back there.
Right before I picked up that chest, we were talking about doing, had 2 swords in GT, and I was going, haha, wouldn't it be funny if it's left side swamp? And then I opened the chest and I went, okay, the seed just said screw everybody.
Oof.
Yeah, when I popped off a little bit when I found that tempered sword in Ice. I was very, very excited because that was actually my tempered. My master was in checkerboard, so I was very excited and didn't need to look for a sword after that. I was happy.
Yep.
So, Moldorm's last gift for silvers.
Mm-hmm.
Great
The
place for it,
ultimate
honestly.
validation.
10 out of 10 seed, right?
Yeah,
Ultimate validation
absolutely.
chest.
I zero complaints.
Zaru absolutely lost it when he thought.
So did I.
Let's see. What did I say? I think I shouted no and probably peaked my mic when I did.
I think you did.
All right, guys. This is the first game of this series.
Holy
Mhm.
crap.
What are we looking forward to later this week?
I don't even remember when our next match is.
It's Saturday at 1 Eastern, 1:30, something like that Eastern.
I'm looking forward to sitting back and watching somebody else play.
I'll be asleep, sadly. I'll be coming off of work that morning. I'll be off to sleep till like 4:00 Eastern.
So, by the sound of it, that means it's Ark and your third teammate, who I believe is our restreamer, Trey Spire.
That is
And-
an accurate statement.
It also sounds like it's DrunkFutureSelf and his third teammate, whom I
Which
don't
is
remember.
Virtua Cat.
Virtua Cat, yes.
Mhm.
That should be an exciting race to watch. If this one's anything to go by, that's going to
This
be an
was-
exciting race.
This was so close.
I can't believe I got sniped by 3 seconds.
I felled again, and then I died to him, and that hurt so much.
I didn't want to bring it up, but
I know.
you absolutely kept your chill game going in there for a third time.
Oh, I did not. You were
No.
not hearing our mic.
He was pretty hot.
Well, you couldn't tell on stream. I'll say that much.
We-
I'll accept that for the compliment it is.
We weren't. You can't tell us you weren't being calm. We didn't hear it.
Yeah, I know.
we didn't
Link
hear it,
just
it
had a
didn't happen,
perfectly
right?
straight face.
If you admit it, then you only have yourself to blame. As far as we're concerned, you were cool as a cucumber.
Link has a perfectly straight face. He's great at poker.
Are you telling me Link doesn't change facial expressions?
But you play as a chicken.
I mean,
okay, fine. Cuckoos aren't very expressive either.
they have two expressions: stoic and caca.
You forgot Murder Swarm.
Oh, I mean, like that's just caca times 100.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, sure. That works. Thanks, though, guys.
Yeah, huge shout outs to the 4 runners on stream here.
And huge shout outs to our trackers, Lady Lorlinda and Retronika. And of course, I can't go further without saying big thank you to Zeruvian for joining me here in the commentary booth.
The pleasure is mine, Zeke Highwind. It's always a pleasure to con with you. Now, that means you and I have to light it up tomorrow.
But I believe that does it for us. So, unless anybody has any final comments.
GG's, everyone.
Yeah, GG's.
No, GG's.
GG. Clown Riding 101, I Stole Your Bow. Good luck on your future game on Saturday. More League action all across Speed Gaming Networks, and keep an eye on this channel, the ALTTPR League, for a couple games coming up later this week.
That's right. And if you like watching a Link Pass Randomizer League, we got 7 weeks of fun here, don't we?
7 weeks, handfuls, armfuls of teams, 2 games a week. No shortage of content, I'll tell you what.
But with that, I think that does it for us. So to racing fans, Zelda fans, and just fans of watching fun, have a good night, everybody.